My two Satoshis. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm back with another story. It looks like the wormhole got hit a little bit earlier today. The Solana wormhole got hit for about $322 million. One of the biggest hacks in DeFi this year so far. If you go to the portal, it's currently down right now. As you can see right here, it says they're actively working to get it back up. Reports are coming out that the patch has been fixed, and they're saying that they should be back up and running. But let's go into the story a little bit. The blockchain bridge protocol wormhole has experienced an attack resulting in the theft of at least 120,000 ETH. That comes out to about 322 million. Wormhole has attempted to contact the attacker and has offered a $10 million reward. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. If you look at the transaction details, as you see down here at the bottom, it clearly says right here, let's bring it up, this is the wormhole deployer. We noticed you were able to exploit the Solana VAA verification and mint tokens. We'd like to offer you a white hat agreement and present you a bug bounty of 10 million for the exploit details and returning the wrap ETH you minted. You can reach out to us via this certain email address that you see right here. And if you take a look at the transaction log, you'll see that the hacker sent a test in of 0.1 ETH about 6 hours before the attack, waited about 3 hours, came back and started hitting the protocol hard. Now they're saying that no other assets were taken except for the wrap ETH, but I'm really not too sure about that. If you really dig into it, it looked like he got a little bit more than that, but I can't verify that for sure. Just take a look at the transactions and you will see what I'm talking about. Now, what's interesting is earlier this year in January, Vitaliks put out a Reddit post that says he was skeptical of cross-chain bridges. Let's go ahead and go into a little bit of the details of what he had to say. He said the fundamental security limits of bridges are actually a key reason why I am optimistic about multi-chain blockchain ecosystem. But he said he was pessimistic about cross-chain applications. To understand why bridges have these limitations, we need to look at how various combinations of blockchain and bridging survive 51% attacks. Many people have the mentality, he says, that if a blockchain gets 51% attacked, everything breaks. And so we need to put all our force on preventing a 51% attack from ever happening even once. He says he really disagrees with that. In fact, blockchains maintain many of their guarantees even after a 51% attack, and it's really important to preserve those guarantees. He says, for example, suppose you have 100 ETH on Ethereum, and Ethereum gets 51% attacked, so some transactions get censored and or reverted. No matter what happens, you still have your 100 ETH. Even if a 51% attacker cannot propose a block that takes away your ETH because such a block would violate the protocol rules, and so it would get rejected by the network. He says, even if 99% of the hash power estate wants to take away your ETH, everyone running the node would just follow the chain with the remaining 1% because only its blocks follow the protocol rules. More generally, if you have an application on Ethereum, then a 51% attack could censor or revert it for some time. But what comes out at the end is a consistent state. If you had 100 ETH but sold it for about 320,000 DAI on Uniswap, even if the blockchain gets attacked in some arbitrary crazy way, at the end of the day, you still have a sensible outcome. Either you keep your 100 ETH or you get the 320,000 DAI. The outcome where you get neither violates protocol rules and so would not get accepted. Now, imagining what happens if you move 100 ETH onto a bridge on Solana to get 100 Solana wrap ETH liquidity pair, and then the Ethereum gets 51% attack. The attacker deposited a bunch of their own ETH into the Solana wrapped ETH pool and then reverted that transaction on the Ethereum side as soon as the Solana side confirmed it. The Solana and the wrapped ETH contract is now no longer fully backed, and perhaps your 100 Solana wrapped ETH liquidity pair is now only worth 60 ETH. Even if that's a perfect ZK snark roll-up based bridge that fully validates consistency, it's still vulnerable to theft through 51% attacks like this. He said, for some reason, it's always safer to hold Ethereum native assets on Ethereum or Solana native assets on Solana than it is to hold Ethereum native assets on Solana or Solana native assets on Ethereum. And in this context, Ethereum refers not just to the base chain, but also any proper layer 2 that is built on it. If Ethereum gets 51% attacked and reverts, Arbitrum and Optimism revert too. And so cross roll-up applications that hold state on Arbitrum or Optimism are guaranteed to remain consistent even if Ethereum gets 51% attacked. And if Ethereum does not get 51% attacked, there's no way to 51% attack Arbitrum and Optimism separately. Hence, holding assets is issued on Optimism wrapped on Arbitrum is still perfectly safe. He says he does not expect these problems to show up immediately, but as we can see, it has. Now, I didn't read all of that because I didn't want to bore you, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you a little bit of context as to what he was saying back in January. And as we can see, I won't say that he waxed poetic or that his words came true, but I would say sometimes it's wise to listen to those who actually build in this space. Now, I've came across a very interesting thread that is currently kind of going viral right now on Twitter from smart contracts. It goes into detail pretty much exactly how the hacker was able to do it by minting Ether on Solana and taking advantage of that verification that I kind of showed you a little bit earlier. I will not go through and read all of this to you, but it is very interesting. If you want to learn more about hacks like this and how it happened, then I will leave the link down below so that you can go through and you can read it into your heart's content. But the reason I do videos like this is because I'm only a year into the space and I want to try to learn as much as I can, and I want to try to pass that knowledge on to people who are new in this space also. Basically, the gist of it all is if you're dealing with native assets, keep those native assets on the blockchain that you got them on. If you got ETH, only work with it on ETH. Do not transfer it to Solana or be going into bridges and things of that nature, trying to do cross-chain swaps. Basically, that's just a very simplified way. If you're dealing with Solana, only deal with it on the Solana network. Do not be playing with it on the Ethereum network. That's a very simplified way to look at it. So I want to make sure I pass this along to you guys. I hope this helps. I hope you enjoy this type of content. Hit that like button, that share, and to subscribe to this channel for not just breaking news, but something that gives you a little bit more so you can dig into what's really going on. I try to give you the truth, try to give you the red pill of crypto so that you can go down this rabbit hole with me. This has been my 2 Satoshis. We're out.
Lately I've been losing my direction. I know, 'cause I've been trapped inside this heart of mine. Oh, heart of mine. Oh, heart of mine. Heart
Take the
of
red pill.
mine.
You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember,